invited Lindsey Millennial here because she's the baddest bitch I know. And you know that because I brag about her behind her back all the time. But what I love about her is when Lindsey is your friend and she is in your inner circle, she is the type of person who will call you on your shit in the best way.
Glad to say that. I'm glad you framed it that way. I appreciate that.
Do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself?
I'll try to niche it down, right? Parenthood will do that to you.
Yes.
But I've just been really fortunate. Right now I have 2 businesses, Empire Concepts Group. So we do small business bookkeeping and a lot of frac CFO consulting as well. And we do it from a frame of like an operator founder mindset, which is very different in that space because a lot of people are like, here's your numbers, how are the day? And don't really help business owners understand how to change the numbers and make them better. And people put a lot of their own money and time into these small businesses and with a background in America. And so we just want to give them the best shot, right? Like it's hard enough as it is. And then I also, with my very good friend that I grew up with, Lydia Drury, we co-founded Battle Republic, which is a boutique fitness concept, cardio strength. We have 3 locations now. It's been open for 7 years, and it's just, it makes me smile because I get to see like the really crazy cool impact we get to make on people, not just like for longer lives, but better lives. And there's a mental aspect to what we do too, that it's a great way to decrease depression and anxiety, especially boxing.
So Lindsey, I started, it just is so on brand that you started a boxing concept.
And in some fights. So there is a reason to channel that, probably. Yeah. A lot of people I grew up with are like, yeah, that's probably on brand.
Well, how did you get so tough?
I mean, I'm farmer's kid. Catfish. My family raises catfish in West Alabama. And my dad was Amish. So he got excommunicated. This is a longer story for another day. But
Not for a therapist. Say more about that.
Yeah, I mean, so my dad, his family, the Millers, they came from Ohio. We're in the Amish community. My granddaddy came down and bought some land, like with cash. He was a very smart man. He got an 8th grade education, which is all the Amish Mennonites have. So most of my business on 8th grade education. Just incredibly smart humans. They're not scared to live. He came down to Alabama, walked up to some people's doors, and was like, do you want to sell me this land? Like, he'd done some research on it, and he sent my dad down. My dad had been excommunicated for, like, smoking pot and having a motorcycle, which is frowned upon in Amish community. And his 2 brothers also. So they were excommunicated. My granddad eventually became a Mennonite. So he got a car. That was fine.
So, like,
and yes.
Amish like.
Yeah. So,
loosen up.
Well, they were Amish growing up. I never grew up Amish. Yes. Well, yes. We could talk about all the different types of Amish, but yes. I mean, they were real Amish.
Yeah.
Until they want anything. Like, I can build you a fence. I was held out of school to, like, put new roofs on sheds.
Like, this is
like
what our kids need.
They do. They should be raised by ex-Amish.
Okay, so you were modeled like grit, hard work, probably gifted some of that genetically. And then,
yes. And my mother is not ex-Amish, but was built very similarly. Like, it is,
she might have had to have been to, like,
marry it. Yeah, she's still a little badass. Like, she's still on the farm. She's probably on a tractor right now.
You got this way probably genetically, but also it was really modeled for you.
It was, and I'd say probably, like, to the extreme sometimes. I was the first of four girls, so I really got, like...
Yeah.
And then the twins were, like, 9 years younger than me, so my dad didn't know any other way but the way he had been raised, which was, it's extreme work and work before everything. So, I mean, I would say there's a lot of good work ethic that's come from that, but there was probably overcoming a little bit too. But, yeah, I didn't know. And then, like, yeah, I have to do hard shit before I get to do something I want. Like, that's just part of...
I have 2 questions, so you're going to have to hold on to your new dress. Well, she dressed like you. She's like, I really love Lindsey, and I'm going to wear the same necklace and denim.
I really did. I even went home and changed because I had like a
She
slutty
makes us
outfit
wear
on.
these bracelets that say, what would Lindsey do? And I'm like, you're right, Laura.
Whatever. I'd be trying to dress like Laura all the time, and I accidentally did that today. So,
look, if you could go to the other neighbor and ask them now to stop with the leaf blowing.
It was to be a hired human, so I don't...
Okay.
Yeah.
2 questions. First, is there ever a downside to having that high of a work ethic?
Yeah, I mean, I think you talk about things that you have to unlearn in life, especially when I became a mom. So you don't have to be productive 24/7, but I was a little bit raised that way, and I'm appreciative. Do not get it twisted. I'm very appreciative of that. I mean, but like if I was watching a show for a minute and my daddy topped the hill in his F-250, if there was no clothes to fold, I was unfolding shit to find something to fold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it served me really well for a long time. But then like my mind and my body could not keep up with that once I had a kid, and so it really put a light on how much rest and resetting matters.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change the way I was raised for anything, but that's something you definitely have to do.
Well, I think you make a really good point. So, like, when I go back and do childhood work with people, it's not about like bashing. It's like our parents gifted us these things, and some of it we have to unlearn or tweak a little bit for what we need, and mothering will do it to us. Second question, and then I'll pass the baton. Is there a softer side to you?
There definitely is.
She lives in there.
She is in here somewhere, for sure. No, I mean, I think my
Like,
closest.
you cry?
Yeah, but it's pretty rare. Like, I cry when I'm really pissed and I can't do anything about it. That's one thing. Two, I mean, I obviously have compassion. But
Yeah.
empathy is at the bottom of my strengths finders list.
I think I'm so enamored by this because I'm like, how are we this different? I cry. Like, if I don't cry one day, I'm like, what happened? I'm like, I need more. Now I've got.
She has a lot of compassion. Okay, I want to ask you some questions around something that I didn't put on the list, but I do think it's really intriguing. You were on your way to freeze your eggs at 39.
I was 38.
38.
Yeah, I've been looking at it for like a while. It was like I kept being like, oh, maybe this will work out, and I don't have to do all this. And the pandemic slowed that down too. Because anyway, but yes,
But go on. What happened instead?
I met a man at Moe's Barbecue in Lakeview, Birmingham, Alabama. He's 10 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
He's beautiful eyes and a very nice ass and a very lovely human. But yeah, so like at the ripe age of 38, I got accidentally knocked up by my boyfriend of 3 months. I think it was maybe 3.5. It's very West Alabama of me.
And hold on, let me just
Not Amish.
It's
I'll tell you
not
that.
Amish.
Nope. Baptist mama's dream.
But let me just say too, the thing I love about Lindsey is, but before all this happened, you had rang the bell on Wall Street, going public with a company as a CFO. I mean, you had done some big bad shit in your career, and you had kind of decided like, I still want this. I want a baby one day. I'm willing to do whatever. But then isn't God funny?
He is hilarious, and I love that. No, yeah.
Or she.
There's a lot of times where I wish that I'd have had a kid earlier in life, mainly just to have more time with him, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much good that came out of exactly how it happens.
Uh-huh.
I think the Lord was like, I'm tired of you, like, being too picky and messing around, and like, this is your guy, and like, just in case you think it's not, here's a child. And it's probably sort of the same thing to Philip.
And Philip is the best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, couldn't have scripted it any better, but in the moment, it was even at that age, right? Like, I've, like, lived a lot of life. I had the financial means. It wasn't like I was, 20 years old and didn't know how to do anything.
You mean like I was?
I am still in awe of it. I'm in awe, but I'm in
Nobody's
awe.
making what would Laura do.
I don't know how the hell you did it. Well, honestly. I was like struggling.
Neither do I. It's a Christmas miracle.
Well, it's probably a lot of grit in there too. But yeah, I mean, but I like picked up and moved my life down on the Fairhope Daphne line away from all my people with a man that I was like, he might marry me, he might not. And I'm going to be this dumb bitch that picked up her life, bitch, that moved down. I really thought like, oh my gosh, he's either going to resent me for marrying me or this is going to turn out terrible. And I've like moved my whole life. But it was the first time in my life probably that I was like, you didn't try to protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely some tough parts to get through with me. And I did it anyway. And it turned out it turned out to be great. Like being not around all these other people and being able to be with Philip, like while I was still pregnant, before when it was just us two. We were like renovating the house. We were like sleeping on a mattress.
Hard things.
We did a lot so fast.
So fast.
And it was like, if it was going to break us, it would have broke us. But we got incredible clothes and it was great. But I was really like on the U-Haul. Me and my mom were like going down in the U-Haul. I'd sold my house. I did buy a backup condo downtown here before I left.
On the way out.
Yeah, like I love a safety net. Claire, love a safety net.
We'll get into that
yeah.
privately.
I'd probably need that. Thank you.
What?
But yeah, it was wild.
You made all these, obviously you had some unexpected turns in your story, having a daughter at 39.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
being in perimenopause with a 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old, is a real hat trick.
What would you say to maybe a woman who's experiencing a lot of life change in her late 30s that's just like really unexpected, like kind of a curveball?
I think it goes back to something I just believe in wholeheartedly, is like you have to lean into hard and you have to kind of meet it head on a lot of times, and it will remind you how resilient and strong you are. I think we run to comfort a little too much, in my opinion, and then we forget our strength. And so when you're faced with hard things, like lean in, learn what you can, take time with yourself, do the things that you know center you. Like I've got to work out. I've got to go get in a sauna and get in a cold plunge, which sounds psychotic, but it's running into discomfort because it resets me to remember that I could heal it. And I think that's something. I think it's something we all should be
That's
doing.
how she says things. She's literally called me within the last couple of months and said, I'm about to say something to piss you off. You got some mediocrity around you. You okay with that? Because it feels like something you wouldn't normally be okay with.
Because I believe when you love people, you don't want them to play in the street. You don't want them to do things that are going to potentially harm them or what they're going for in life. Or I mean, I say that like, you don't want to sit and watch people that you care about be in a situation that's probably not going to be good for them. And I think it's hard to say. It's not hard for me to say, which is probably a problem.
Well, it's a gift.
And yeah, but I think that I won't say anything if I really care about you.
Yeah.
Like, so if I'm saying something, it's because I legitimately care. And I'm also okay with being wrong about it. But I can't sit on something that I feel like someone may not know or may not have realized and be okay with it.
It's just so wild because I basically, well, not with like friends, but I have to like lead clients to the right answer. So I just watch the disaster and I'm like, then how does it make you feel if it went that way? I'm so jealous. So
I'm in awe of your ability to do that there, because I would include. That's why I have migraines. It's from restriction. It's true. If I have to like keep things to myself,
your body's not going to have
it. Doesn't like it.
If we looked at the business mindset, what is the biggest mistake you see with women financially, whether they're a business owner or not? Like, what do you see the most of?
What I do love about women, and I'll start with this first, is they're not scared to say what they don't know. And when there's not a lot of ego there, they're going to learn faster and they're going to move quicker. And they're going to find the resources most times to like fill their gaps. So I really enjoy that about female business owners. I think a lot of times because we're women, because of society, the way we're raised, whatever, there's 100 different damn things that go into it. But too often we're playing to participate and not to win as women. And we deserve to win too, but you have to go play that way. And I think a lot of women, you don't even think about themselves in that manner, right? It's like, I did this thing and it's cool, but I don't say mediocrity is not the word, but there's so much more that they could be doing if they believe that they could, and if they were like, believed in themselves to know that winning could be more than they're seeing it right there. So I think it's just an underestimation of how big they can win sometimes.
It's good.
You always,
and I think you're right. Like women aren't typically afraid to say, I don't know this, or help me out with that. And you're right, it would be more teachable. I just hadn't thought of it through like the business or financial lens.
I was going to say too, like, one of the things you and I have talked about too is just like, I think a lot of times your comparison will get you nowadays. I feel like there's so much, this delusional idea that everybody else has something and you got to have it too. And I think like comparison drives a ton of like recklessness. Could you write maybe some permission slips around living below your means and what that could do for someone's?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all become consumers. I mean, that's what, and everywhere you look on social, it's telling you things that you should have or someone else has you shouldn't need. And I think it's a flex to live within your means because we're trying to do something with your life. Like a lot of times we just buy and buy because we think that's going to make us happy. It's going to get us where we're trying to get. We're going to at least look the part. And hell, I like a good pair of sunglasses. Probably too much. I buy them all the time. It's my thing. But also I know that I want financial security for my family, for myself. I want to build some generational wealth, and it stops me. So I a lot of times put things in the cart, and then if I still want them 2 or 3 days later, I know people talk about doing that all the time. I do that, and I think that you have to decide what's the bigger goal here. Is it, and a lot of times it's also, before you buy something, get up and go look in your closet first too, because I think we just jump to it instead of remembering that you have to be stewards of what you have to get.
When I met Lindsey, I called her. I had the worst CFO fall time. I'm convinced he was terrible. And every time he called me, he told me the sky was falling. Like, he would be like, well, you're about to be broke. Probably won't even make payroll in 2 weeks. So, and I was like, great, cool.
So helpful.
Oh, so helpful. Yeah. But we spoke at something, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you are taking on new clients, but when I called Lindsey, it was the very beginning of the pandemic, and it was very scary for everybody's business. It was, specifically mine. I just didn't know if it was going to make it. A magazine. Who's going to buy a magazine in the pandemic? What you gave me was the ability to understand my lane and the ability to run it. Talk to us a little bit about why that's important for women.
I always say all the time, lean into your strengths and hire for your gaps. I think that we too often want to be everything, and you can't be. 1. 2 is, as a business owner, sometimes you need someone to say, I need you to take a deep breath and it's going to be all right, because we're going to go do X, Y, and Z. So we have a minute to breathe. And what I know that you can do is this, and go do it, and go do it well, because you can get so caught up in minutia and the weeds and like the bullshittery of running a business that you don't go execute on the things that make your business go. And I think that sometimes you just need somebody to come in and be like, either I got this, or like, hey, just don't worry about this for a minute. Big rocks. We'll get to the pebbles later. Let's
break this down for friends.
Yes.
Talk to us about that same advice you gave me, which, by the way, was a lot around like just like knowing how to collect money, and like a lot of people weren't paying their bills because it was a pandemic, and hell, I did all the things nobody told me not, like, don't do that. I was like, don't pay us. Just don't pull. We didn't want people to pull, which actually ended up working to our advantage. But like, what about your friends? What should friendship sound like in regards to getting your people out of these?
From a financial standpoint, or from anything?
Just anything.
To me, it's always starting with reminding them that they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that they're not in it by themselves, right? And I think that's the same thing with business owners. Like, you need to hear that it's going to be okay, and you're not in it by yourself. And guess what? You don't have to have all the answers today. We do have to do some short-term things to like breathe a little, and then let's see how to not prevent this potentially, or to fix it long-term. So I always kind of triage, no matter, I feel like, what the crisis is, discovery, like really understanding the flow of what's going on. Saying, I love Dolly Parton's new song, I cleared Big morning, like, it's all gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay. And here's what we're gonna do about it. What do you want to do? And if you don't know, I'm gonna help you figure it out. Because I think sometimes you need someone to give you the confidence back.
I think it's pretty common in the South. Money's very private, and so particularly in my family, were very open, but money wasn't really openly taught about. And I was well compensated for our family's troubles. Like, it was like when hard things happen, I got a horse. That's a real story. Okay. And it was like, just here's this, or like, did you feel sad? Because we can take you to the summit. And so I did not know how to buy a house, and I love my family. Y'all have given me so many gifts. Financial management wasn't one of them.
Of course.
I did had, my God, I finally sold it. I'm like, I have kids now. Like, I can't manage this shit. But it wasn't the horse. It's a very expensive hobby. My God.
It is.
I should have had a mountain bike or something, but that's not the point. The point is, I taught myself a lot. I'm a one-woman business show, so I don't have employees, but I would even say this for women that are not business owners, or maybe they don't need to be employed or whatever. I didn't know a lot, and I had to teach myself, how do I buy a house, and how do I do, and I have done that, and I have started a business. I still get a lot of anxiety. Like, I have to email Brad, my accountant, today. So, he hates me. No, he actually likes me, but he's like, you poor thing. I still get very frozen in fear, lots of avoidance around it. And it's like blinders on. I don't think that's a rarity. So, like, what would you tell women that are more like me, like, just figure it out, or get very scared and into the avoidance, but no one talked to them about it? And it still isn't super common at town for women to talk about finances.
Just finances in general.
Probably.
And especially
avoidance
like
of.
taxes too, right? I mean, it's like all these things. It's why I have a job, I guess, probably. But it's sort of like, it's sort of gatekeeping. I mean, it really, I have found that in the financial space in particular, like, there's so much slang, and like the way people talk about it's like this ethereal shit that nobody's supposed to have access to. And it's just not. I mean, I'm like, you find an expert, and if you don't want to find one, you're right. I use Claude AI a lot, and it would tell a lot of the same advice that I do.
Also, read Rich Fish. Every woman needs to read Rich Fish. Every single one. It will change your life.
100%. But I think it's like, don't be scared of it, because the more you know, the less you'll have anxiety around it. And so it's just start learning. Like, just put your toe in the water. Crack the door open a little bit. Call me,
So find, I mean, and if you don't live it, people don't live in Birmingham, it's find an expert, read this book, and start asking the questions.
Yeah. I would say too, one of the things that Lindsey really helped me with was I carried all the burden of what the P&L looked like for my company. And I'm going to say this just in general. A lot of times I find that even in marriages, women will carry the burden of the finances.
Yes.
And so they're paying the bills, and they see everything going out, and they see the pressure of what's in the bank account or not in the bank account, or how our savings are growing. And oh my God, these kids are going to need cars and college and all that. I would tell you that one of the things that you've done for me is, one, you gave me freedom to know, like, hey, this is not as scary as you think it is. The more you know, the better you can control your future. And then she encouraged me to really make every female on my team P&L literate. So teaching all the women that work at our company in leadership how to read our P&L and be invested in it. Like, there's something really bold about that, but it's also us writing a permission. So for every woman on our team, it's like, hey, these numbers feel overwhelming, but they're not scary if you can have a professional guide you through it. So
yeah, I think it's money in and money out. I mean, at the end of the day, and then I think also, hope is not a plan. And a lot of times we just are like, I want to have this lifestyle one day. And you're like, work your ass off and wish on a star, right? And I'm like, I have to tell my husband this, and he's over me right now probably, because I'm like, we need to sit down and make play. And he's like, we are fine. I'm like, I know we're fine, but like, you want a yacht. Like,
Hope
the fairy godmother, the fairy godmother of the yachts is not going to
really fuels me, I think, unfortunately.
But I think so many times because we don't understand it, we avoid it. And I just want to let everybody from it's just like, there's people will be like, I'm not a financial person, I don't get it. You will get it. Well, you just need to like pull the curtain back a little bit and get somebody to break it down in a way that makes sense to you. And I think financial people make that difficult sometimes because they have the education and they want to show you that they have the education sometimes. And accountants are in tax world, which is like, we work with CPAs, but I know when to call them, but I don't know all the tax laws. But I do know that I need to have a plan if I'm going to make X amount of money this year to pay the least amount of taxes. And I know I need to call and ask before I do things. We say, what am I not doing? What we do a lot of times, we don't even ask questions. We have to take whatever we do. And financials, whether it's personal or business, they're the results.
What's wild is we did another interview with an artist and she's more focused on creativity, but y'all are saying the same thing. It's basically like expose yourself to this stuff, get the information and regulate it, which is wild. And she says, the artist said some people, everyone is creative, but they say they aren't. And it's the same thing with the financial piece. So like, I'm not a financial person.
You make money.
Become one.
And you make money. Like, I think it's data, right? That's what Lindsey told me. All this is data. Your numbers are telling you a story. You're a storyteller. You love story. Okay. So what story is it telling us? How do you want to change the story? What do you want the ending of the story to be? And I'm like, oh.
I mean, she loved that shit, right?
I was like, yeah, bye. I'm off to the races.
Yeah.
See you later.
And she executed flawlessly against what needed to be done to create history. But yeah, you just have to think of it's a reframe. I talk about reframe.
Love a cognitive reframe.
Don't blame. Yeah,
exactly.
No, you're very capable of wanting it, and not just wanting it, but combining it.
Okay, final thoughts. What permission slip do you want to write to women? What do more women need to know? Not about finances, not anything particular, just like.
I think that the way that you show the highest level of intelligence is creating a custom life. And yeah, we don't all have a trust fund that we're sticking on all this money necessarily, but there are a lot of things in life that we can go do. And I think we forget that. We just forget the possibilities of what is out there. And don't be scared to say what you want. And then don't be scared to work your ass off to go get it. It's very possible.
And if you call Lindsey and you don't get her, you're going to get her voicemail. And it still says, like it did years and years ago when I met her, this is Lindsey, and this is Lindsey Miller Neal.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not available. But what's it say then?
Roll Tide.